I thought I was hallucinating from the heat. Or maybe it was the stress. But no, there was a bear. A full-grown grizzly. On my porch. It was early July. The sun had been punishing for days, and the ground was dry and cracked. I just finished hauling water to the garden when I noticed the silence. No wind. No birds. Not even the bees. That kind of quiet makes your skin crawl. I turned toward the house, and there he was. Lying halfway in the shade, half on the grass, was this massive bear. His sides heaved like he'd run a marathon. His ribs poked through his fur. His eyes were half shut. He wasn't dead, but he was close. My name's Emily. I'm 27. This farm used to belong to my father. After he passed last spring, I stayed. It's just me now, with a couple goats, some chickens, and my old yellow dog, Duke. He was nowhere in sight. Probably under the shed. I froze for a good 30 seconds. My first instinct was to run and grab the rifle. But I didn't. There was something about the way the bear lay there, completely still, no aggression. Just done, like he was giving up. His breath sounded shallow and raspy, like a worn-out engine refusing to start. I backed slowly into the house and closed the screen door. My hands shook as I dialed Fish and Wildlife. The woman on the line asked for details. I told her everything. She sighed and said, "If he's that weak, there's probably not much we can do. If he poses a threat, you'll have to put him down." Put him down? The words hit me like a punch. I didn't even realize I was crying until I felt the tears on my arm. I hung up. For 5 whole minutes, I just stood there, watching him breathe. I thought about what my dad would have done. He was a stubborn, quiet man, but he always had this crazy soft spot for animals. Once he nursed an injured fox back to health for 2 months. He would have tried to help. I knew it. So I opened the fridge, grabbed some leftover fish I'd been saving, and stepped back onto the porch. My hands trembled. My boots crunched the dry wood. I inched closer and set the plate down near the steps. I whispered, "It's okay, buddy. It's food. That's all." He didn't move. I retreated, back to the doorway. Waited. Minutes passed. His nose twitched. Then he shifted, slow and clumsy. He didn't stand, just dragged his body closer to the smell. He licked at the fish, barely chewing. I could see a cut along his front leg. Old, scabbed over, but infected. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept going to the window. He hadn't moved much. I put out more water. A couple apples. The next morning, they were gone. By the 3rd day, I gave him a name, Bruno. It was something my dad used to call his old bear-like dog. It felt right. Bruno started lifting his head more. Then his eyes followed me when I came out to do chores. He didn't growl, didn't move toward me, just watched. On the 5th day, he tried to stand but collapsed again. When he fell, I gasped. I'd gotten used to him being there, like some heavy shadow that watched over the porch. I knew he wouldn't survive like this, not without help. So I did what nobody in their right mind would do. I got closer. I boiled water, soaked a clean rag, and with a bucket of diluted iodine, I walked toward him. My heart pounded so hard I thought I might faint. He saw me, lifted his head. I crouched a few feet away and held out the rag. "Bruno, I'm just trying to help. If you're gonna bite me, do it quick." He didn't. I wiped around the wound. The skin was hot. Angry. I did what I could and backed off. Next day, I did it again. He let me. Each time, a little more trust. By the end of the week, he let me get close enough to press a warm compress on the sore spot. A week passed. Then another. He gained some strength. Started sitting up. Watched the goats from a distance. Duke finally emerged and barked at him from across the yard. Bruno ignored him. Neighbors started asking questions. Jimmy from the hardware store drove by and saw him lying there. "Emily, are you out of your damn mind?" he said. "That thing's gonna eat you." I just shrugged. "He hasn't yet." Jimmy told others. Word got around. Then the sheriff came. He parked at the edge of my property and walked up with his hat in hand. "Miss Walker, I've got reports of a wild animal here." "He's not wild anymore. Just sick. You know we can't allow this. If he harms anyone." "He won't. I'll sign whatever waiver you need." He looked at Bruno, then at me. "You got 2 weeks. If he ain't gone by then, we take him." I nodded. But inside, I felt my stomach twist. 2 weeks? That wasn't long enough. That night, it rained. First time in over a month. I sat on the porch with a blanket, watching the droplets soak into the thirsty ground. Bruno shifted closer to the porch. His fur slicked with water. I tossed him a blanket. He didn't touch it, but he didn't move away either. By week 3, he was standing. Slowly. clumsily, but standing. I wept the first time I saw him walk 10 feet. It wasn't just relief. It was pride, like watching a child take their first steps. Only this child weighed 600 pounds. One morning, I woke to find the porch empty. My heart sank. I checked the barn, the fields. Nothing. Then I saw the prince. Big, muddy, heading toward the tree line. He'd left. Part of me was crushed. The other part knew. It meant he was strong enough to go. I stood there, in the rising sun, barefoot and in pajamas, and cried. My hands still smelled like iodine and bear fur. It felt like a piece of me had walked away. A month passed. Then another. Life returned to normal. Sort of. I kept checking the edge of the woods every morning, just in case. Then one night, Duke barked like crazy. I ran outside with a flashlight. The goats were fine, the chicken coop untouched. But by the apple tree, I found it, an enormous paw print. Fresh. And beside it, 3 smaller ones. My hands flew to my mouth. Bruno had come back. And he wasn't alone. He never showed himself fully. But the prince came and went. Always at night. Always near the tree. I started leaving out food again. Not much. Just enough. People still think I'm crazy. Maybe I am. But I saw a broken, starving animal, and I couldn't walk away. And now, somewhere out there in those woods, a bear who once almost died on my porch is living his second chance. That's enough for me. And you know what else? Since then, I've seen changes I didn't expect. Fewer deer wander into my fields now. The crows don't gather near the chicken coop anymore. It's like the woods know that something powerful has returned. Something that belongs. And somehow, so do I. Sometimes, late at night, I sit on the porch with Duke and listen. I swear I hear movement just beyond the tree line. A rustle, a grunt. Once, a soft chuffing sound, almost like a sigh. I whisper, "Good night, Bruno." And I like to believe he hears me.